Now, Cyberpunk 2077's launch has been riddled with problems. I was extremely excited for this game's launch. I mean, I purchased it twice. Once on the PC to see how that performance would be, and then once on the Xbox for my Series X. And I'm someone who can look through problems that games have. I definitely am. I sometimes give games too much of an easy pass. I don't mind minor graphical bugs, but when a game is near unplayable, no matter how much excitement I had for the game or how much I like the developers behind it, I need to call out situations exactly like this one. Now, as a CD Projekt Red fan, I'm very disappointed in them and what they've done recently with Cyberpunk's launch. Now, a few months ago, I had said that I was disappointed in them when executives told us that developers were going to be going through mandatory crunch when they previously promised that their company was above that. They were not going to stoop to that level. And a lot of people were pretty angry at me for calling it out and saying, hey, CD Projekt Red, this isn't okay. But the developers' crunch didn't even pay off, and we can see that now. I called them out then, and I need to call them out again with the current situation. So this is an article by OpenCritic. They knew that it was wrong. CD Projekt Red deceived consumers anyway. So on Monday, December 7th, gamers from all around the world were finally given the chance to read and listen to critics' experiences with one of the most anticipated games of the year, Cyberpunk 2077. The game quickly ascended into the Open Critic Hall of Fame with an initial top critic average of 91, placing it at number 6 in our 2020 Hall of Fame. The reviews almost universally mentioned significant bugs and performance issues, but still hyped the game up to finally be worth the wait. I thought that this was pretty interesting when it happened because I talked about it in a video. The reviews were super high. There were like 90s, 95s. We even saw a ton of 100%, yet they all said there were a lot of bugs and a lot of performance issues, so we all thought that it was a little bit suspicious because they're giving it a 100%, yet at the same time they're saying there's lots of problems with it. Reviews are extremely important, so when they're saying something has a lot of problems yet they're giving it a 100%, that to me is a problem in of itself. So it says the incentive was there. Up until last Friday, the developers believed that their bonuses were contingent upon hitting 90 or higher on Metacritic, according to a report from Bloomberg. As a result, the individual developers and publishers had ample incentive to distribute review codes in a way that maximized their scores and secured their bonus. Now, in this case, they issued PC review copies to publications with high-end PCs and required that they not show any of their gameplay recordings. They allowed no one to discuss or review the game on the Xbox One or PlayStation 4 consoles. This is a huge problem, and this is really where I feel like CD Projekt Red deceived us and kind of lied to us because, first of all, they only told reviewers you can use our footage. You can't use your own footage, which is pretty suspicious in the first place. Usually when YouTubers are reviewing a game, they're showing their experiences, the paths that they chose. No, you couldn't do that. And then they also didn't give out review codes for specific consoles. They only gave out review codes for the PC. Now, currently on Metacritic, the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077 is sitting pretty high up there. It's like a 7 out of 10 for user reviews, yet the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 user reviews are sitting at 2.3s and 3.0s, very, very low scores, and we can see what the problem here was. They definitely didn't want reviewers getting their hands on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 versions simply because there were so many problems, and there definitely is a huge performance difference, and they could have potentially had super low critic review scores, and then they maybe wouldn't have gotten their bonuses. And of course now they're saying bonuses don't matter, like the reviews for the bonuses don't matter, I should say. You're gonna get your bonuses no matter what the user review is, because they're now seeing, oh shit, the reviews are actually pretty bad from users. So the article says they did it knowing that most online communities don't discuss the platforms behind the reviews. Most games, especially AAA games, usually don't have significant disparities in the experience between same-gen hardware. Consumers have come to expect that most games will be fairly reviewed across all platforms, and in our experience, most publishers respect that expectation. Extremely large publications like IGN or GameSpot are typically afforded the chance to review all platforms and call out any major differences between them. It's a small, though typically inconsequential blind spot in how publications connect with gamers. They did it knowing that what they were doing was wrong. It was deceptive, selfish, and exploitative. They did it anyway. So I wanted to head over to Cyberpunk 2077's official Twitter because CD Projekt Red decided to make a statement on the situation, basically saying, we're sorry that people are having problems, and you could try to refund the game if you really don't want to give us a chance to fix it. So it says, first of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base/gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think that transparency is huge in the industry and in every industry. In the gaming industry, games come and games go very quickly. Games can die in a matter of a weekend. Games can fail in a matter of a day. And transparency is huge if you want to foster a good relationship with the people who are purchasing your games, just your fan base in general. So I do think that this was a big L, in my opinion, a big old loss, because I do think that CD Projekt Red's kind of talked about how they are transparent and how they're great to their community, yet in this case they really weren't that great. So the next part says, second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays we'll continue working, and then they have 2 large patches planned, one in January and then one in February. We're talking about patches in months. Yes, they have released a couple of small patches since release day, so that is good. And they do also have one more planned before the holidays, but then it sounds like the gaps are going to become pretty large. I know that they can only work so fast. I'm definitely not pressuring them. I'm glad that we're getting updates at all this fast. We've gotten a couple already and we're going to get one more before the holidays, but I just think that if you had taken the time to make sure that the game was, fully fixed before you launched it, these problems wouldn't have happened. And I'm not blaming the developers. The developers are doing the best that they can. It's the greedy executives which are the problem. If these executives really listen to the developers saying the game isn't ready, I don't think that the game would have launched in this state, but unfortunately, the higher-ups at the company just didn't listen to the developers saying, we need more time, so they kind of gave them a couple months by delaying it, and then eventually said, enough is enough, it needs to launch by the end of the year, and they dragged it out as long as they could, but it definitely needed more time. And then the last section says, finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase, and we would appreciate it if you would give us a chance, but if you are not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. And then it says digitally, you can use the refund system of PSN or Xbox respectively, and for boxed versions, try to return it where you bought it, but if they will not take it back, you can try to contact us. So they are trying to resolve the situation, saying if you really don't like the experience, feel free to return it. But I wanted to bring up this tweet on the side really quickly because it truly shows how it started and how it's going. So this tweet, the screenshot, well, the tweet that's showing the screenshot, says Cyberpunk 2077 runs surprisingly well on current gen consoles according to CD Projekt Red's CEO, yet now, of course, we're seeing the truth where they're having to apologize because the game is so buggy, it's so broken, and it's just so messed up. Now, I completely understand that they are a company at the end of the day. I understand that they're running with the timeline and they needed to launch the game and make some of their money back on the project. But the state that this game is in just doesn't cut it. I really hope that CD Projekt Red fixes this game and turns it into a No Man's Sky situation where they put tons of time and tons of dedication into it so that it can just be an amazing game and everyone can enjoy it. I've really liked the game itself so far. The story is really great, the characters are awesome, the voice acting's good, and the setting is really cool, but unfortunately it's just the quality that really lacks, and I can't recommend someone buy a $60 AAA game when it's continuously crashing on consoles, and some of the time you can't even launch it, and if you get in game, it is so laggy and so bugged that you can't play it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Please, CD Projekt Red, I hope that you put the time and dedication into this game and make it as amazing as we all hope that it can be. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and share it, and of course if you didn't, I see you, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.